Welcome to the EST Hangout.
This is the EST Hangout, and today's guests are...
A good Thursday morning to you. A happy Four Nations final day. This is the EST Hangout presented by Sentinel Storage live right here on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. Thank you to everyone for tuning in live on EdmontonSportsTalk.com, on TuneIn, on iHeartRadio, on Apple Music. Thanks to those watching us on YouTube, and also thanks to those listening to this on the podcast, wherever you get your podcast. Matt Iwanyk, Tom Gazzola, Brendan the intern, with you today here on the Hangout. We're going to be talking quite a bit, I guess, about Four Nations.
Why? I'm kidding.
It's Four Nations it began with. We're down to 2.
Yep.
And Erick's been tweeting it out how many hours and stuff?
I saw 10 hours, 32 minutes. I got very excited when I saw that.
9 hours, 3 minutes, 8 minutes ago. So do the math from there because I don't feel like doing it. Add another 3 hours to that. And in that time, it will go from 4 nations to 2 nations to 1 nation. That rules them all for the next year.
Canada.
You're just making that prediction? Making the declaration?
Yeah, I have to.
Damn right.
Show over. Let's go.
Yeah.
Go pre-drink.
That would have been fun.
Yeah.
It's nice weather today, at least. Like, it's warming up the rest of the
spring. Finally. Yeah, spring.
I've been hearing for the last month and a half.
That when March comes, when March comes, it will be spring. And now look at it. Look at the forecast. Look at the forecast. It looks beautiful.
You're right. Interesting.
It does get up to 1 today.
It does. Good.
It does. And what's the rest of the week look like?
Very, very pleasant.
The rest of the 7 days look
highs are all in the positives.
We had to go through 10 days of misery to get here, but we finally have arrived.
As I predicted.
Yeah. It's eventually going to get to 30 degrees in like 3.5 months, but it's going to get there.
I said we were going to get through January, February like that, and then March is going to come and it's going to all be nice. And here we are. We've almost gone through February like that, and it's all nice.
Actually, the like that thing is true about February. It has lasted by, but it has been bitterly cold.
Yeah, so I didn't say anything about that. I said
I'm not giving you full
though.
Credit.
I get a little bit of credit.
By the way, we're going to be at Hudson's White Avenue. Shout out to Connor Y over at Hudson's. Getting he invited the EST crew. It's going to be a hybrid. There's going to be an EST crew, Oil Kings crew there.
Cool.
Tonight. So we're going to come by, say hi. If you're looking for a place to watch, call Connor at Hudson's White Avenue.
This is going to be a fun one because I want to look up 2026. Like, I don't know what time that game's going to be in Italy.
The Olympic gold final?
Yeah, it should be a decent time too. It'll be played on a Sunday. So if Canada gets there,
national holiday,
like we will all have time for it, but it will be like I would assume that's probably going to be like a noon start or something.
Mm-hmm.
Tonight's going to be a fun one though, because it is like 6, so 6:20 by the time puck drop happens. Yeah. It's a nice time. People could enjoy it. And everyone could get there. And that's where this is going to be massive TV numbers that we're going to see.
I think so.
And both sides of the border.
You remember 2010 and 2014 vividly, right?
2010, I was on a bus trip, and we just made it home in time to watch Crosby score. And 2014 is not near as vivid.
No, because the games were at like 4 a.m.
That must, I guess. Russia.
Premier Alison Redford, and one of her greatest moments as premier.
Yep.
She allowed the bars to open up at 4 o'clock.
Yep.
They had to close at 2, or is it 3?
They had to close at 2.
Was it 2?
Yeah.
And they were allowed the 2 hours to clean, turn things over, but open up for 4 o'clock, or maybe they were open up for 3 o'clock.
They were open
because the game was at 4, I think.
I think you could serve at 4.
So she was one of her greatest moments for, is it premiership? I'm assuming it's premiership.
She did not have a very good premier tenure. 10 years.
But she allowed the bars to be opened early. I didn't go and partake in one of those, but it was a big deal that we were allowed to go drink as a province early.
Yeah.
To go celebrate our boys and cheer on our boys in Sochi.
It's almost sad to long for the days of Alison Redford compared to what we've been getting the last couple of premieres. But I'm just going to leave it at that.
I'll let you leave it at that because you don't want me going.
Yeah, no, I know. That Sochi Olympics, which was also, it was coming off the high of Vancouver, which was great. And, but the 4 a.m. thing threw a neat little wrinkle. And yes, we were allowed to drink at 4 a.m. It was awesome. I put in like a 14-hour shift at Hudson's downtown on 104th Ave at the time and 112th Street. I lived right behind it. So it was too convenient, and I spent a lot of time there. 14 hours. I watched the game. We got, I think, Derek Van Diest, my old boss, Mark Ciampa, and I, we got there, we watched the game. It was packed. We're drinking beers at 4, having breakfast, had lunch there, had dinner there, and then stayed all night. I think I went home. I made it home at like 1 o'clock. Or maybe it was more than 14 hours, but it was way too long that I was there. I actually went home a couple of times, and the waitresses all knew me and the staff, so I had my tab running the whole time. We didn't lose our table or our booth. It was unnecessary, but it happened. There's nothing else to do. Like, that was it.
That was an all right Olympics. Canada was too good. We were dominant. Mike Babcock coached the perfect team. They had a perfect machine. And by perfect team, he was like, we're going to win by suffocating teams. We're just going to suffocate you out. You're not going to get anything on our net, and we're going to go score the 1 or 2 goals needed. It's wild. Like, the team that actually challenged Canada the most was, I think, Latvia.
That's right. Wasn't it like a 3-2 win or something like that?
It was like the semifinal too, wasn't it?
Well, and how many shots did they have that game? I almost think I remember watching the rerun in school.
A lot.
And there was like 65 shots or something. It was a 2-1 game.
Because they had a great goalie, the Latvians. Like, everyone's like, who is this goalie? I think he was a Lightning prospect.
Yeah, and that was his one game, just like at World Juniors.
Yeah, just like it.
Yeah, it was very similar. It's like, I've seen this before, but where?
Because we watched that game. I watched that game at 12:60 in my office. A bunch of us just watched it in the room. And like, it was like, what is going on here? Like, Canada should be rolling this. It's Latvia.
Yeah. Yeah. I watched all those games at Hudson's downtown at the time.
Not semi, it was quarter.
Yeah.
It was 2-1. Canada then took on the US and beat them 1-0 in the semi.
Yeah, they were just a machine defensively.
I want here's the score, the summaries of these.
Yeah, you've got to have that goalie.
Okay, game reference. Here we go. Kristers Gudlevskis.
Yep. That was him.
Pull up
shots 57-16.
Wow.
And yeah, it was 1-1 through the first. No one scored in the second. And then it was 53-06. I love international scoring. So that's what, 7 minutes, just under 7 minutes left in the hockey game. Shea Weber scored to give Canada lead. But it was that close where our perfect machine almost blew it. And then Canada against the US in the semis. Oh, don't click that, Matt. We scored in the second period. It was Jamie Benn. And we just then held on and won that hockey game.
That team was unbelievably good. Just stacked.
And the difference, like, I like the 2010 team, like the defensive 2010.
Sure.
Was something else.
Yeah. Niedermeyer, Pronger.
I think Keith and Seabrook
Yep.
Yeah.
were on that. Dan Boyle.
Yeah.
Dowdy was there because he was an 18-year-old or something.
Yeah.
Do you ever hear that story? Don't know where it came from, but he showed up minutes before the gold medal game. Just rolled in.
He missed the bus and then had to like run up to the entrance.
There it is.
Shea Weber. We forgot that guy. It was Dan Boyle, Drew Doughty, Duncan Keith, Scott Niedermeyer, Chris Pronger, Brent Seabrook, Shea Weber. That was the decor in 2010.
Wow.
And that was a wild tournament because, Martin Brodeur, who's the guy that came in to save us in 2002 when Curtis Joseph faltered in that first game.
That's right.
He faltered early, and then it was Roberto Luongo who came in, and that was like we barely beat Switzerland. We won 3-2 in a shootout. I remember, I think Sidney Crosby won that game in the shootout. He won the game-winning goal in that, and he just looked pissed off to me. I remember he's like, we shouldn't have done this. Like, we shouldn't have been in this moment. When he scored, it was just like all business. Then we lost 5-3 to the U.S., and then we turned it on from there because how did the playoff rounds go? 8-2 over Germany, 7-3 over Russia. I remember that was such, like, it was hyped domination. Like, here we go, and it was just domination. 3-2 over Slovakia, and then we took down the Americans in the game that mattered.
That's a good point, by the way. This game has all kinds of context surrounding it. Obviously, the buildup has been amazing, but in the grand scheme of hockey, like, it's not as big as.
Oh, I was saying in the game that mattered of that tournament.
Oh,
said, no,
okay,
like,
but like, I'm talking about this
I get
one,
what you mean.
Although this game has definitely been heightened.
Okay, if I'm going to take the political side of this, because this is, to me, probably the most politically charged hockey game since 72.
Yeah, good
if we're going to add in that. But I'm going to take that aside for this. If you're looking for next year to make a better tournament, for anticipation for hockey,
Yep.
America beating Canada today is the way to do it.
Good point.
They go into the Olympics with their chests even puffed a little further, going, we are the best in the world.
Mm-hmm.
As a Canadians, we get to go in pissed off and go, no, that's ours. And we've won 3 of the last 4 best on best Olympics.
Yes.
02,
That's
10,
right.
14,
Yep.
06 we lost. Like that's one where we'll go in being like, no, that's ours. Like you won the little fun trophy.
The fun
you won this
trophy.
little thing over here that no one cares about. We're gonna show you what it's like next year. And all the Canadians get to be pissed off. Like, let's be real. Connor McDavid pissed off going to the Olympics.
Look out.
That I would expect him to go off next year in Milan.
I expect him to go off tonight.
Absolutely,
But you're right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
But like just that added, if he's pissed off, if Nathan McKinnon is pissed off, if Cale Makar is pissed off, then you go to the real tournament.
Yep.
The tournament that does matter.
Yes. Globally, very, very, very relevant.
Then you have all the other countries that show up. I think that Olympics just adds a little bit more.
Yep. It's juicy.
Mhm.
It's a delicious appetizer before a beautiful steak dinner. That's what
It
this
is.
is.
It is.
Yeah.
What's your
Uh,
favorite appetizers?
Oh. I like a gyoza.
I don't even know what that is.
Just like the pork dumplings.
Yeah.
Oh,
I like good bruschetta.
Yeah, that's
And
good
that.
stuff.
I also like warmed olives.
I don't
I
like
love
olives.
warmed all like just by themselves.
Yeah, they usually get done
What
in like
about
olive
Henry?
oil and stuff. And do they have warmed olives?
They do.
I've been there. I've just had drinks.
Great spot.
It's just olives, and you eat them.
Oh,
You take out the pit out and you put it in a dish.
no kidding.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, that is kind of crazy, actually. Yeah, no, probably like buffalo wings.
Okay, that's sure.
Ah,
So wings
Classy.
before the meal.
Oh, for sure.
Okay, so there you go. Today's the wings, or all of that before the meal, which is next year.
Or
Yeah.
if you're going Italian, it's a delicious polpette. That's meatballs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm,
It's good meatballs. That's good. A couple of texts have come in. 780-218-9999. Paris Jewelers inbox. This one says, I work in the bar industry. We had 1 hour to clean and set up to reopen at 4. Yes, the mad scramble that would happen at the bars and restaurants. I was talking to Tony over at BP Westgate. He was working at a different establishment during the Olympics, and he was talking about the same thing. He's like, some people would clear up their tab, or they would leave it open. They would leave at 2, go stand outside for like an hour or sit in their car, and then come back in right at 4. Like, he's like, yeah, it'd be the same people. They basically just did an all-nighter, and then they would come in and watch the game. I was like, that is amazing.
I don't think we're gonna have that for 26.
what's the time difference?
I
12?
know England's 7,
Okay, so
Yeah.
probably
so
not.
Milan should be pretty similar.
Yeah.
What's the current time in Milan? 5:18. So 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 hours.
Okay.
I just use my fingers for that stuff.
Sochi was messed. It was a weird.
Yeah.
It was like 13 hours or something stupid like that.
So I would assume like the IOC is smart enough with these things, and NBC pays big money. They don't care about CBC. The NBC pays enough big money that the marquee event, especially when NHLers are there, is the men's gold medal hockey.
Correct.
Mhm.
Just like the marquee event of the summer's game is the 100-meter dash men's.
Yep.
Yeah.
Those are the big ones. I would assume that there's going to be, okay, we're going to make sure that this is at a proper time. So if it's 9 hours, or I said 8 hours, I could see noon our time, 8 o'clock out there.
Yeah.
That's the start
fine.
time. You get 2 o'clock Eastern on a Sunday. NBC gets a nice lead up to it. They're hoping that the Americans are there. Canada gets a nice lead up to it, hoping the Canadians are there. And it's big TV numbers.
Huge.
And for anyone out in Europe, it's still, you could still
Yeah,
watch it.
very
8
reasonable
o'clock
time.
there would be 7 o'clock in, other parts of Europe. It'd be perfect. They don't care about the rest of the world, largely especially for a winter.
Mm-hmm.
There's not many other winter
Yeah.
nations that you're really dealing with that you're losing. So I would expect it'd be a nice afternoon, which would be like it's like World Cup soccer.
That'd be awesome.
I'm already
EST
looking
watch
forward to it.
party? I think so.
Yeah, we'll have to plan a big. I
Yeah.
think honestly, it might even be worth just doing I'll just do business right now, set up with a partnership with some place and do our shows from that place
Hell
during
yeah.
the day.
Yeah.
And then throw for every Canadian game.
That'd be awesome. That's a great idea.
And then there's World Cup next year too,
That's right.
which I still haven't talked to Dusty about this. I'm going to all the Canadian games. I don't care. You might get hangouts off because I might just take the hangout. If I don't get days off,
Take it with you.
I'm going to take the hangout on the road with
I
me
work
unless
6
you
days
come.
a week anyways, so this week it's 7. Like, frick, take the hangout with you. That's
yeah, I got a
great.
plan for that.
Jeffy texting and says Weber literally shot the puck through the net in 2010. Yes, that made it into Benny's blind rankings 2 weeks ago, where Benny Thompson stumped us. That kid, he's good. What other ones? This one here says, this is Mick Brown Mark. In 72, I was in St. Greg's Elementary School in Ottawa for Game 8. We all went to the gym to watch the game on TV. After Henderson's goal, they gave us the rest of the day off. That is beautiful. And I talked about it a bit yesterday on the oil stream, the 72 Summit Series. Like, that was like the biggest international Canadian hockey game ever for like decades and decades. And I think the 2010 Olympic gold medal game surpassed that in the golden goal.
I disagree on that one.
How do you disagree? Like, you're talking about
Because of
Canada, USSR in the Cold War, which I get is a huge deal, but nobody else gives 2 iotas about it. And then the golden goal in 2010, that's the Olympics, man. That's the globe.
Because of the politics all around that series. Because we didn't know anything about the USSR and their hockey teams.
Were you there? You probably were there in a different life, you weirdo.
But everything I've heard about the 72 and everything that's been talked about it, that is just it did supersede hockey, and that's why to me I will have a hard time ever claiming any other sporting event in Canada is going to supersede the 72 Summit Series.
Disagree and say that there have been many Canadian sporting events that have surpassed that and beyond. Donovan Bailey, 96.
And I'll give you those.
Sidney Crosby, 2010.
I
Ben Johnson, 88, for all the wrong reasons. What else would there be?
I would defer to older people if they would agree on that one with the 70.
They probably won't, because they'll probably be like, oh, that was the biggest deal ever. Well, yes, it was for decades, but it has been surpassed. And I respect the 72 Summit Series.
Yeah, but 2010, it was just great for Canada. We beat the U.S. and the world. Like it's the same as the 72. It really didn't matter to the rest of the world.
2010?
It didn't matter.
But you
to
had
the
a
rest of the
global
world.
audience. Everybody was watching.
I don't care
Everybody
about the
in
global
quotation.
audience in that part. That was Canada versus USSR, and that's in that point.
It wasn't USA, USSR.
No,
It wasn't AD Miracle.
don't care. That was us.
I would even make the argument that overall, 80 Miracle on Ice is a bigger deal than the 72 Summit Series. And I know that's like sacrilegious to say as a Canadian, but in the like global landscape, that 80 Miracle on Ice was probably a way bigger deal than 72. 72 is our miracle, I guess.
It wasn't a miracle. We were supposed to be better.
Just in that context.
I see. I get
Yeah.
it. In their call. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
The naming of the.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
I see what you're saying.
That's kind of what I mean. But like, obviously, we were supposed to be better, and we found out very quickly that the Soviets were very, very good, equally up to the task. But I think in terms of like clout and weight globally, I think 80 probably means a lot more because it's USA versus USSR at the Olympics. And the Russians or the Soviets were pros in the USSR, and the Miracle on Ice team was college guys.
Yeah, they made a movie about it.
They certainly did.
That's
Again.
exactly.
Do you know who
Filmed
the coach
in
of the US was?
Herb.
Attaboy.
They filmed it in Trail, BC. Part of that.
Nice.
Reed, welcome to the Nasty Chat. Thanks for listening, Reed. 1972 Summit Series was a memorable series and pivotal series in hockey. 87 was amazing and just a better tournament than 2010.
Yeah, I heard that one was awesome. I was
And
one.
Bronco Knicks' Canada Cup 87 was the pinnacle for me. So I just, if it wasn't for the political part of it, I won't. I could see why 72 then wouldn't be as high, but just because of the political side of it all.
I want to get
That's
to
where it changes. And that's where, like, honestly, with where we are politically right now in the state between us and US, if the two teams meet in the 26 gold medal game and it's still this politically charged, and thinking that we get a year later, how much more it would be politically charged, this would be up there. That would be up there as a massive.
Absolutely.
That would skyrocket the standings because of just where we are at the moment.
I want to get to this one. text comes in. Pretty funny listening to someone born 13 years after the Summit Series trying to talk about its importance. Yes, guess what? I've read about it. I've watched every documentary about it. I've tried to understand why it meant a lot. Just because I wasn't alive for 13 years doesn't mean my opinion on it isn't any lesser. And again, I'm giving it all due respect and appreciation, but I'm telling you why the 72 Summit Series isn't as important globally as the 2010 Olympics. Simple as that. So yeah, maybe it's pretty funny to you, but I'm telling you why. I probably know more about the 72 Summit Series than you do. Thank you.
Ooh, mic drop there. Wow.
I've been very perturbed by some of the texts that have been coming in the last couple of days. I'm a hockey nerd. I've been a hockey nerd since I was 2. Don't challenge me on this stuff. I got this right in here. Thank you. Drop again. Boom.
For global stuff, Donovan Bailey is a big one.
Thank you.
There's nothing, there's to me 2 titles that matter to the entire world. World's fastest man, world's heavyweight champion boxer. Those are the 2 things that still, I think, matter.
What about not the last Olympics, the ones before? And I'm going to go to say his name and I'm going to forget it, but the greatest athlete on the planet, the decathlon. Who won that?
Oh, Damian Warner?
Damian Warner.
Thank you.
It's just not as
Not on that pinnacle.
I think if we went and polled people who's Damian Warner, there's still be a lot of Canadians that don't know.
I didn't.
Whereas, I guess it's hard because we don't have Donovan Bailey right now. Andre DeGrasse is would be closer to that. The world, that is an amazing claim. You are the most athletic person in the world.
Yeah,
but just not on that.
But it's
level.
not the same. I don't know. There's just that prestige to fastest man.
Mm-hmm.
That holds that a little extra weight that's on the top and stuff. That's the one everyone stops and cares about. And that's why Donovan Bailey up there was a big deal. Canadian did that.
Mm-hmm.
That was incredible. And that's where I was always be a little sad that, Lennox Lewis didn't box with the Canadian flag next to his name.
know.
For the world heavyweight boxer of the world. He boxed for us at the Olympics, I believe.
Yeah. Well, Peter Nedved played for Canada at the Olympics
What?
too. Yeah, you didn't know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah. He defected from Czech Republic or Czechoslovakia at that time. And I think he got his green card or something. He was able to play for Canada. And then obviously went back to the Czech after 90. And after the breakup of the Soviet Union.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
That I learned something new today.
Was it
always liked
Albertville
Peter
or
Nedved.
was it the next one? 94 Lillehammer. I'd have to look.
Rip City. Reed, I've read that the Russians say they won 72 because they won the total goals in an 8-game series. Reed goes, yes, Rip. I thought they were just going to claim victory if there was game 8 ended in a tie because they scored more goals. I didn't know that they still claim that then. Well, you can't win a series when you lose. You don't win as many games as the other country.
Nedved 94 Lillehammer with Canada.
94, okay.
Yeah.
Is that when we had we had that national team.
Still had the national
Tom
team.
Rennie.
Yeah.
Was he not the coach?
Wally Schreiber was a staple on that team. Played with his nephew Kyle growing up. Dave King was the coach of the national team for a long time.
What?
Well.
Sorry, this is not hockey. Mike the Michigan fan may have annoyed me
Why?
because he may have told me news that I'm not happy with. I gotta go take a quick look. He's saying Aaron Boone got a 2-year extension.
He did.
What?
Yeah, I got that.
How does Aaron Boone get a 2-year extension? He's a trash manager. He blew it in the World Series last year. Oh my. Today's about Canada. Today's about 4 nations. Today's not about the Yankees. But geez, Brian Cashman. Oh my God. Brian Cashman deserves to be fired today. Just for that move.
What's 2 years?
Yeah, two more years, we won't win the World Series. Great. It's unbelievable. He
We're getting spicy.
He should have been
today.
fired 4 seasons ago, 3 seasons ago. I was on, and Tide knows this. I can't believe him. Then last year, they get to the World Series final, then he blows it. Keeps pitching to Freddie Freeman.
Yeah, that was silly.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Good job, Aaron Boone. Good job, Brian Cashman. Nice work. Okay, quickly, the EST Hangouts presented by Sentinel Storage, Canada's storage experts. More than 2 decades of helping Canadians through life's transitions. By Canadians. Canadian storage provider. I'm just going to keep yelling now. 75% off 12 weeks, 5x5 units. That ends next Friday, February 28th. Sentinel.ca. They know how to do things right. They know how to extend the deals properly. I'm like Brian Cashman. Idiot.
Now you're saucy. Now you're saucy. I love it.
Now I really want the Yankees to lose tonight.
Yankees to lose tonight. Oh,
Americans are called Yankees.
Yep. No.
And I just have extra reason. Like I could actually cheer against the Yankees for once. Stupid Cashman.
This text comes in. TG's right. 2010 way more important globally than 72. I'd say 2002 was bigger as well. Fair point.
2002 was a big one for Canadians.
For Canadians.
But it was also like we hadn't won in 50 years.
That's true.
That was
a big
thing.
deal.
It was 50 years since we had won.
That was a fun tournament too.
Yeah.
That was the end of Tommy Salo.
It destroyed his career.
Yep. And messed him up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He got hit in the puck like from like the red line, hit him in like the head.
Against
and it
Belarus.
like floated up and then it went in the net or something like that.
Yep.
And like Sweden was great in that tournament. They had destroyed, like they dominated Canada in the first game. Everyone was expecting a Canada and Sweden rematch. I think that would have been in the quarters or would that have been in the semis? And Belarus upsets Sweden because of that goal. And it was just like, whoa. And then Tommy Salo came back to Edmonton, back with the Oilers, and just was never the same. Just never the same after that one. So
they made a poster or a postage stamp in Belarus of that goal.
Go figure.
Yeah. You want to add insult to injury?
No kidding. Tommy Salo was my guy when I was little guy.
He was great. Back-to-back All-Star appearances for the Oilers. I think he's still the franchise shutouts leader. Stu Skinner will obviously take over that.
Yep.
Nobody.
No, I think so.
Nah, he probably will. What else? Tommy Salo. Well, they finished 6th the one year in 2000, 2001. Gager was on that team for good chunks of the season. And that was the last year of Doug Waite. They had Bill Guerin on that team, Ryan Smith. They traded for Anson Carter. Got rid of Bill Guerin. You want to talk about Bill Guerin? We talked about him a bit yesterday. Who else was on that? Tom Poti. They had, I think, Eric Brewer as well. It was a good team. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who Tommy Salo got traded to?
Nope.
Colorado. Do you know who they got back from?
Nope.
Tom Gilbert.
No shit. Sorry.
I did not remember that trade at all.
Yeah.
Now that was a pick. That ended up being Tom Gilbert?
I
Or did they
think
trade for
Gilbert
Tom
was
Gilbert?
part of the deal. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I forgot. I didn't realize he got traded to Colorado. I remember they got him from the island. But I didn't remember him getting traded away from here, how that all played out. You guys got all the facts today.
Yeah. Hockey nerd.
Tango could be worse, Maddie. You could be a Blue Jays fan like me. Yeah, I guess. Okay, quickly, I want to get back to Canada. I just have a question for Blue Jays fans here. Because I understand the anger towards Ross Atkins and Mark Shapiro. I do. I'm not trying to defend them here. The quotes Ross Atkins had this week are just so dumb. Like, I don't want to define what close was. I don't know how that, okay, whatever. Is there a number, though, like, we don't know the full numbers. Is there a number you are happy, though, that Ross Atkins and Mark Shapiro would have said no to Vladdy Jr.? Like, people are saying that they were going to give the 600 or whatever to Soto. They were going to give the 700 to Ohtani. Vladdy Guerrero is a great player. He's up in that top, but he's not Juan Soto and he's not Shohei Ohtani. So he's not worth 7 and 6, right, respectively. Is there a number that, like, Vladdy's sitting there asking for a big number? If he's not willing to come off that, is there a number where you're like, actually, I agree with Ross and Mark for not giving that money? Or is it pay him whatever Vladdy Guerrero wants? I'm just throwing that out there, Jays fans, wondering what their feeling is on this. Because I look at Vladdy and think, like, he's probably a couple years away from just being strictly a DH.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So are you wanting to give $550, $560 million to just a DH soon? Or is it like, no, straight up, just pay this guy, keep him as a Blue Jay. He wants to stay.
I think B.
Keep him as a Blue Jay no matter what.
You're not
pay
signing
him
any
whatever.
free agents. The rumor was he wanted 450. I'm not sure what the term was.
Okay.
Like 10 years?
Sure. I mean, 45 mil a year. You've tried on every big name free agent there is. Why not keep the guy that is said he's a fan of Toronto, he's a fan of the fans, he's a fan of the organization. Now you're just going to sweep him away over close. I don't know. It seems silly.
Point of pride, right? They, for lack of a better word, strike out on guys that they think they're in on.
Yeah.
And then you can't even keep your own guy. Like if you could just keep your own guy and it costs you a few extra shekels more.
Yeah. What do you do? It's Rogers. It's not like
So
they're strapped
like
for cash.
Jason, like you would be okay paying, like overpaying, like you think he's worth 420, you're okay paying 520. Give him the extra 100 million, whatever.
At
You're not
this
using that
point,
100 million. You're not using that 100 million on anyone else.
Exactly. And
Is that the
there's
sentiment then?
There's no cap. I mean,
Although Rob Manfred, it was the first. I don't think he talked about doing it, but he talked about maybe other teams should pay like the Dodgers, which is like they don't have the money like the Dodgers. Some of these teams. Baseball would have to lose an entire season and more probably to ever get a salary cap in. The players would not agree to this.
No. That's salary cap in baseball.
And it took hockey a year to get it done. I think it would take baseball more than a year to get that done.
yeah.
They would really have to dig in, and the owners would really have to be solidified and going, no, we need to get the salary cap. And to do that, then you'd have to go to the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Dodgers, and be like, yeah, your voices don't matter. Because they'd be like, screw this, why would we want a salary cap? So I don't know if it would ever happen, but okay. So pay him whatever.
Luxury tax.
Pay him whatever. Okay, fair enough. Sorry, I just had to go there.
Yeah. Well, what did Shapiro say? What's money?
Did he?
Or something like that.
They're called fun coupons, Brendan.
So then pay the guy.
Well, I think he meant it in the other side where like, why does Vladdy need this much money kind of thing?
Well, why are you going to pay Ohtani that
1,000%.
money? Why weren't you going to go that way with Ohtani or
Right.
Soto?
It's that brass is beyond me.
That makes more sense to me because I am not a Jays fan, so I don't know the sentiment there. But maybe it was like, yeah, I guess I should go back. I said pay Judge whatever, keep him.
Yeah, and the guy in center field, right off the heel of his glove in the World Series.
Why didn't? But also where I was like Judge when he signed his contract was coming off that home run year. Which
Well,
was
he's going to
ridiculous.
hit home runs for the rest of his career.
But it was never. It was like that's the pinnacle, almost. Like it was like okay, here's his height. He's not going to do that again to a degree. And that's where I was like, okay, well, you pay him for 10 years, like he's going to become diminished. And
yeah, but
I don't want
he's
to
your
play
captain.
someone else. Yeah, okay, that makes a lot more sense then to me. Okay, I now understand it. I want to say I feel sorry for you Jays fans, but we're in the same division. You wouldn't feel sorry for me as a Yankee fan. I'm not going to feel sorry for you. But I understand where you're coming from now. That's all I'll say.
I kind of stirred the pot with the 72 thing. Hey?
kind of
Yeah, I've got a bunch of texts I'd like to get to.
Get to them.
weird.
All right. Al is all over me about the 72 thing. Whoever was texting, and I doesn't have the name on my phone, saying that being born 13 years, that person like wants to challenge me to hockey trivia. You have no chance. Also, Cal in the Park with a very rational and thoughtful text in regard to 72 says, 72 will always be the pinnacle of Canadian hockey as it changed the game forever. Not only were the Russians good, but we learned about Sweden and the Czechs and started the influx of European talent. Cal, that is a very good text. I appreciate that. Collingwood Rob. Oh, Tommy, I lived the 72 series. My parents kept me home from school for games 5 and 7 to watch with family. Watch game 8 at school. The time period was the Cold War / Vietnam War / democracy versus communism. I am also a hockey nerd. I was there. 2002, 2010 were proud Canadian moments. Absolutely. The Summit Series transcended sport. It made the U.S. news. Collingwood Rob, thank you for the text. Okay. And I think Cal in the Park, that's why I started with that one first. I know the older generations that lived 72 and they speak glowingly of it. I'm not disparaging it. It is very, very important, but its impact and the way it resonates globally compared to the Olympics isn't that big. It is a monstrous occasion in Canadian hockey, in our cultural fabric in Canada. And I fully recognize that. The fact that it made the U.S. news, whoop-de-doo, I just want to point that out. Like, who cares what they're putting on? They're talking about the Summit Series. Like, who cares? Like, seriously.
Doesn't that go
Why do we worry about what they're doing?
But doesn't that go to the argument of the global impact?
If it was on the news in Sweden, and it was on the news in Estonia, it was on the news in Egypt, and it was on the news in Italy, that's a big deal. Do we know that it was? Was it on in South America? Because the Olympics is on globally.
Yeah, but I don't think anyone in Egypt gave a damn that Canada won the Olympics in 2010.
Yeah, but was it there for them to watch? Probably. Because it's the Olympics. That's what I'm saying.
That's a good question. Do they have a broadcast deal for the Olympics for the Winter Games?
Maybe. I mean, they probably send like a conglomerate of 10 athletes per country in South America.
Well, there's only 83 countries or something that do participate in the Olympics.
Yeah. And then the whole
Egypt
like
have anyone?
Democracy versus communism, obviously, like we fully recognize that. Like, come on. But in terms of just like the global impact and recognition, 72 Summit Series was Canada versus the USSR. It wasn't USA versus the USSR. Canada. And as I know we like to stand up for ourselves, and we should, and we do, and we're a proud nation. Outside of our country, nobody looks at that and goes, damn, look at the Canadians. They don't really do that. Sad. But we need to continue to stick up for ourselves. So that's what I'm saying in terms of Olympics, 72 Summit Series. Yes, huge for us, 72. But globally,
But for some, like Canadian, they don't care about globally. It matters to what matters to us.
And that's fine.
And that's why 72 is going to be always bigger.
And I respect that. But I'm saying to them, like, yes, it's our thing. It was huge. People stayed home. They got a quote unquote national holiday. That's great. It was monumental in our country. But the impact outside of here is minimal, if not non. Didn't even, there was no impact.
I just like looking at these things. Egypt did not have a broadcaster for the Olympics, nor did they have an athlete at the 2010 Olympic Games.
There you go.
They did not. Because, well, you can find all the broadcasters. Albania had a broadcaster. What are some of the countries that broadcast that? Iran had a broadcaster for the Winter Games. Is there any other, like, ones that maybe would be like, whoa, look at them? No. Vietnam did. It's actually what you would expect for the most part when it comes to... Brazil. Did Brazil have any athletes? What would they participate in? No, Brazil had 5 athletes in the games. Right. Who did they have? Here we go. What alpine skiing. They had 2 people in alpine skiing. They had a cross-country skiing, and they had a snowboarder. Huh. That's fascinating to me. Ghana had an athlete in the 2010 games.
Did they now?
Alpine skiing. Oh, see, how fun would that be to be the lone athlete from your country coming out in the Olympic Games?
Badass.
That would feel so cool. Like not being like, it must be a cool experience to come out with your country no matter what. But to just do it by yourself, I'm representing my country. That would be so much fun. How did he do? He finished 47th out of, I don't know, more than, at least there was 53 people in there, so we didn't do bad. What other countries have people? India had 3, Iran had 4, Israel had 3, Lebanon had 3, Mongolia had 2, Morocco had 1. Who did Morocco send? Alpine skiing. What's with alpine skiing?
Great sport.
Pakistan had someone. That is really cool. I just love that. It's like Cool Runnings. Just when Jamaica, the Jamaican bobsleds went in Calgary and stuff. Just seeing those, it's awesome to see.
Did that bar fight actually happen? You know the bar fight in Cool Runnings? Did it actually happen in real life?
So long.
Did you ever see Cool Runnings?
Yes, but it's been long enough that I don't remember it a whole bunch.
Like that's
is
something
it
that's
true?
Traumatized.
It is fictional according to AI. So we'll go with that.
That's too bad.
Although then there's an article from 2020 from Exclaim magazine. Someone stole the Cool Runnings bobsled from a Calgary bar.
I heard about that.
So there you go. We're learning a little bit today.
Spreading our wings.
Do you know, I brought this up on Hernan and Gager's show last week. One of my favorite Canadian sports memories is actually one most people don't know.
Which?
And it was when Canada beat the US at the 2006 World Baseball Classic.
That was awesome.
8-6 we won. We're up 8-0. Adam Stern was he had an inside the park home run. He had a game-saving catch in the bottom of the 8th at the wall. He crashed into the wall. If he doesn't catch that ball, it's a tie ball game. We're going to lose.
Was Stubby Clapp on that team?
Stubby Clapp was on the team as he was connected with the Edmonton Cracker Cats at the time.
Yes, he was.
And it was the first ever World Baseball Classic, and we went down and we beat the big bad Americans, managed by Buck Martinez.
Wow.
Really?
Yep. It was a great game, and I stand by that. That was one of the greatest Canadian moments because, like, in hockey, we're supposed to win. We're not supposed to win in baseball. And we went and we
getting better.
but that was the first ever one too.
Yeah,
and when you look at the American roster, it's Derek Jeter, it's Ken Griffey, it's Chipper Jones. Like the list goes on and on and on. And we beat them. Take that. And that was one of my favorite moments. And I found actually, I've never been able to find the video of it again. And MLB put it up. Like they must have put it up over the last year or something. So now I got to find a way to download that and like record it. So I always have it because it was just one of the best games ever. That's one of my favorite Canadian moments.
Good memory.
This is the EST Hangout. Matt Iwanyk, Tom Gazzola, Brendan the intern with you here on your clear choice for Edmonton sports. I don't know if you've double checked your guest.
Yeah, no, they're coming.
Okay,
Phone call.
Let Hernan know. Pass it along to Hernan. Brendan's learning how to book guests.
All right.
And he got someone to talk a little Flyers with Hernan and Gager later today on EST Afternoons. Is the Edmonton Oilers. They're back in action on Saturday out in Philadelphia. Flying today.
Yes.
Today's a travel day.
Today's travel day, no practice. See how they handle the Flyers on Saturday afternoon out east. Morning, we're on the air at 10 a.m. for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pre- and post-game show. Myself, Matty Cassian, and Hernan Salas.
Mike Sullivan, he says everyone is available tonight, minus Charlie McAvoy. He would not confirm the lineup, though. So in the end, the Quinn Hughes does not come and join the United States. Chris Johnston, Seth Jarvis is doing special teams work at Team Canada's morning skate. Looks like he'll draw back into the lineup for tonight's game. They are on the ice as of 6 minutes ago. So we are going to have to wait a little bit to hear from what's going on inside the Canadian locker room as they get set to take on the Americans for the Four Nations title. Four Nations supremacy later tonight.
Hudson's White Avenue. We'll be there. Say hi.
Are you guys actually do you feel good about Canada?
Yeah.
Yep. I don't think you beat a team that good twice in a span of 5 days or whatever it's been.
But Brad Marchand says this is the best U.S. team ever.
Great. Kill them with kindness.
What is
I think it would go either way.
Great. Yeah.
I think it would go either way.
It's going to be an awesome game. Seriously. Like we're in for, if you're a hockey fan, at even one little bit of hockey fan in you is slightly curious about this, you're going to be rewarded tonight.
Canadians slightest of favorites on Coolbet, minus 111, USA minus 105. I think earlier this week, Canada was plus money. It was like plus 123 or something when Huss was talking about it on the lock shop. So the line has moved. Naturally, that makes sense. A lot of Canadians are probably betting on Canada. I don't think, could you bet on the US? Like,
I think hedge it a little bit.
You think that's a hedge then?
It would make me feel a little bit better to win some money watching Canada lose. It'd be
that's a straight up like...
It'd be like a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound kind of thing. It would still hurt to watch Canada lose, but at least I flipped a little bit of a profit.
I get that. My mind always goes, though, if I bet America, I'm jinxing Canada.
Do you think you have that much impact on the game?
I do have those type of mind things, yes. And I don't want to be like, well, imagine if I didn't bet the US. Maybe I didn't put that into the world or something. I understand that full thing, but when it like tonight, if I was betting, I didn't even think I could hedge.
No,
these are the type of games I usually just stay away. I just care about the game on the ice. I don't want to be impacted. This is about country. This is about Canada. I'm not. Again, I can be superstitious a little bit. I'm not. If I bet on Canada, I feel like I'm jinxing them as well.
That's
like
fair.
I'm putting.
Well, yeah, then stay away.
Yeah, it's
Absolutely.
like no, I'm not touching this at all. Because I'm going to let the players do it, and I'm not putting my juju into the world.
Yep. Yeah, no, I said before the round robin game, Like I would rather lose this one because I think
Yes.
if Canada
This tournament?
no
Oh,
no,
that game on Saturday.
because I think if Canada wins that game, the States win this one. I don't. I think they're going to split.
Yeah.
It's too
I like that
short.
rationale.
The teams are too good. The X factor for me is what's in net. Is Hellebuck going to steal a game? He's very capable of doing that.
Yeah.
Binnington too, but I have less trust in him.
Would you be watching tape on Hellebuck from last year's playoffs against the Avalanche?
I think Nathan McKinnon and Cale Makar are standing up in that room saying,
Yeah.
this is how we beat them.
Yeah.
This is how we did it.
I think crash him.
Getting his feet.
Right, and
Make 'em-
maybe like a stick blade to the,
Oh, you're talking dirty.
very.
Like your style.
Be a little Makachuk to them.
The only issue is you get Swayman or Ottinger. I don't know who's backing up, but
But they haven't played.
that's
Well,
true.
no, but also,
Ottinger
you're not
played
hoping
the other night.
You're not hoping they're hurt.
No,
Right,
no,
like-
no. Well,
I think you just
for
rattled them.
about
That's a good
2
point.
hours though, a little bit.
Give him a stinger.
Yeah,
Binnington, the one thing about him, I remember just a couple of weeks ago, I forgot who it was, said that when it doesn't really matter, Binnington is but when it really does matter,
well, the guy has.
That was Matthew DeFranks. who
Was
had
it
on the
him?
pregame show.
and it was
Big games, he shows up.
He's
he
a
shows
dog.
up, and you could, and like again, Saturday's game, like I went into it going, we're probably going to see these two teams again today. Like if Canada loses, they're going to go beat Finland and they're going to move on. If US loses, they're going to go beat Sweden and they're going to go move on, type thing. This is the game that matters. So I think we're going to get a strong game from Jordan Binnington tonight.
Absolutely.
2019 Game 7 Cup Final, Binnington.
That type of Binnington.
That's okay.
And then it's okay. Well, one goal isn't enough with that firepower, especially. Can they get the Hellebuck for 3 or 4?
Yeah. No, you don't win many hockey games with one goal.
This text comes in and says, Canada found lines that work finally, and Makar
And Makar.
is in. So that's huge.
That's
I
a
agree
great
with that.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's easy to forget too slightly.
No disrespect to Travis Sanheim and Thomas Harley, but Cale Makar is
Well, he's out
Quinn
there for
Hughes,
25
best
minutes a
defenseman.
night,
Yeah.
just controlling every second that he's
Yeah.
on the ice.
And he's a great defender.
Yep.
Like that gets for like when a couple years ago when it was the Western Conference Final.
He skated with McDavid and just
There was some people, there's one guy in town I know for sure here that he can't defend. He can't defend. And then he showed up and he can defend.
he's brilliant.
He can
turns
defend.
out.
4 games later.
Big Uke Nasty Chat, faith in Canada, but win or lose, this tournament was a huge success. I can't do the happiness hedge when it comes to Canada, US. All in on Canada, not betting aside for me, but I'm all over McDavid props. Tango, if you bet US, you're happy either way. Mr. Gerbeek, I ain't no trader. I would never bet on USA. So that's fair. I understand both sides of that. Like when it comes to Canada US, I ain't ever putting money on the US, but I also understand the happiness. Like if Canada ultimately does fall, at least I get a little bit of cash out of it.
Fraser texted in, says Team Canada parallel the Oilers. I'm confident in the team, but the goalie could lose the game for them on any given Sunday. Good football reference there. Baggio texting and says, this game's exciting. A lot of tension, high energy. Players are 100% into it. Should be fun to watch. But in the end, I want 97 hoisting the Stanley Cup for the Oilers at all costs. Bringing it home. Got Oilers games this weekend. What are you thinking?
He doesn't want to lose tonight.
No.
Not the way that, with what we've seen on this tournament, not a single Canadian wants to lose tonight.
I don't think any American does either.
No, this is, Connor McDavid's not thinking about the Stanley Cup tonight.
Oh,
Not a single one
No.
of those guys is thinking about the Stanley Cup tonight.
No.
They're thinking about,
this is the Stanley Cup.
we can't lose to these guys twice. Or the other, like we need to get our first best on best tournament win since 96 for the Americans. Like that's the mentality going into this one.
Do you know much about the 96 World Cup?
Nope.
Man, there's some. I watched like a highlight, like a half-hour highlight package on it the other night. Canada, US. I think it was best of 3 final. Canada lost in 3. It was intense, man. Like Saturday with the 3 fights in 9 seconds. There was 2 fights in the first shift of game 1. Claude Lemieux fought someone. Keith Primo got in a fight. Scott Stevens fought Bill Guerin. It was wild, man. It was really, really wild. And those guys were going hard, and the hate was real there too. It was in Philly. That was interesting. Cujo was in net for Canada for that one. Brodeur was the backup.
Who was the head coach? Remember?
Glenn Sather.
Was it Slats?
Yeah,
Okay.
coach and GM. They played an exhibition game here at the old Coliseum. Can't remember who they played, like Slovakia or something like that. They dummied them, but Sather started all Oilers. It was like Paul Coffey, Vincent Donfus, Wayne Gretzky, Mark Messier, and Cujo started in net that game. I don't know who the other player was in the starting five, but Gretzky set up Vinny Donfus for a goal in that game. Classic backdoor, backhand pass. Donfus squibbed it through. I remember that.
I don't remember any of 96.
It was cool.
I have
It
the
was neat.
smallest memories of Nagano. I don't remember the hockey much. I remember N64 had a Nagano video game, which was always really fun to play. There's no hockey in it or something, but there's like downhill skiing, or
You could be Ross Rebliati.
it was an amazing. There was even curling in
Ross
it.
Rebliati.
It was awesome.
He doesn't know Ross Rebliati. That's before his time.
I don't remember Ross Rebliati. It's not,
So where they brought in snowboarding at the '98 Olympics in Nagano.
That was the first time?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Ross Rebliati won, but he got busted. He failed his drug test because he was around someone smoking weed. He says he didn't smoke weed. And it was a huge scandal. I think he ended up, did he lose the gold medal? And then got it back. But it was a huge, huge deal. Kind of interesting. I have to look it up. I think he still has the gold. I think they allowed him to keep it.
I just remember the.
Well, it's not like it's a performance enhancer.
Yeah, but it was a
But still,
failed drug test
absolutely.
back then. And
Yeah.
the perception
Well,
of marijuana back then, far cry from what it is now.
And even then, it's still something for certain places.
Yeah,
in
that
certain
is true.
certain leagues.
Was there not something more recent where was a swimmer or was it Jamaican? No, I think I don't know.
Like of somebody getting caught with weed.
Yeah.
It might.
And
be
I think they stripped him.
it might be at the Olympics still.
So
I could see the IOC still doing it. I could just see it.
the IOC did strip Rebliati due to the failed drug test, but was overruled by an appeals court 2 days later. 'Cause remember, he kind of came out of the courtroom and he kind of pulled the gold medal and it was all crumpled up in his jacket and he showed it to everybody. He got to keep it.
Lars Y. Didn't smoke weed, a snowboarder? Okay, we believe you, LOL.
Good point, Lars.
By the way, the official drink of the EST Hangout. If you're looking for something to drink tonight for the Four Nations final, something that'd be great would be the Finnish long drink. Official drink of the EST Hangout, as I said, legend of 1952, a drink unlike any other sparkling refreshment, real liquor, longdrink.com/Canada to enter a postal code, find a liquor store or an establishment nearest you with it in stock. Today, we've got Brennan the intern, Tom Gazzola, Matt Iwanyk with here on the EST Hangout, presented by Sentinel Storage, Canada storage experts. More than 2 decades helping Canadians through life's transition. Sentinel.ca for more information on where you can find a convenient location nearest you. They are a Canadian storage provider. I'll call them the Canadian storage provider in my mind, by Canadian. If you're looking for any storage needs, go with the Canadian ones. Sentinel Storage. This is going to be a fun run, I think, for a little bit. The next 18 months, maybe it's a little less of Canada. It's just going to be fun. Tonight, Canada, Olympics next year, World Cup next year. It's a good little run that we're coming in on.
I was thinking of Michael Phelps when he got caught with a video or a photo smoking a marijuana pipe. But he never.
How long ago was this?
This article is from 2009.
Oh, okay, yeah. People
So it
were pissed
wasn't-
at that time.
Yeah.
Weed wasn't something that was very acceptable at that time.
If you're wondering what Ross Rebliati's up to right now, it should come as no surprise that he is very much involved in the cannabis industry.
I am stunned. I am
Yeah.
shocked. I can't believe this.
He has launched a company or two.
My world is completely blown.
What a surprise. Good for him, though.
Actually, Jake Plummer, former Denver Broncos quarterback, is big into the cannabis. He sells. He's involved in something in the Colorado area.
Yeah, that's not surprising either. I don't know, like there's like the CBD oils, there's some healing effects. Anyway, Ross Rebliati. This text comes and says he should have gotten 2 medals for being a stoner. LOL. And Cal in the Park says, come to Value Buds around the corner. I will get you a parking pass for the lot. That's not the only thing I'd be getting at Value Buds, Cal.
Heyo!
Heyo! My buddy Ross needs something. No, he doesn't. I'm just kidding. Just say something.
No, I don't. I just
What are you gonna say?
who do you think is the most likely candidate on Canada to be the hero?
I think it might be somebody like we don't expect.
Yeah.
Yeah, like kind of a sleeper pick. Like a point shot goal. Josh Morrissey. He's been playing great, but like he gets the goal.
We're like the guys that would be the contenders would be a McCarr, a McKinnon, a McDavid, a Crosby.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't put anyone else over those 4 as like the leaders of this team type thing. So it's like, who would you let that he doesn't fall into that group? So that would make sense to me. I mentioned it with was it this week? I think it was this week. Was it with Jay? I would if I could magically plan this all, I would like Crosby to be the hero tonight.
That'd be amazing.
And then I would like McDavid to be the hero next year and 26. And the passing of the torch of the leader of Canada occurs that way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because Crosby he's had an amazing tournament. Jay asked me on Tuesday when I was on Reed show, it was like, who's been an overachiever in this? And it was like, well, it's Crosby, which is weird to say, but he's leading the tournament and scoring and stuff. Like, who was expecting that from Crosby when you have like on this team, McDavid, McKenna, McCarr type thing, he's leading, how the game ended against Finland with him getting the hit and then the empty netter. He's the overachiever to me. He's still proven like, no, I'm the guy to a degree. And I want him to, it'd be nice to have him get that one now, but McDavid, it's time for him to take it over. Maybe that comes tonight.
Cool.
Who are you taking?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, that's not great radio.
I know.
Great answer, Brent.
Thank you. I've thought really hard and long about this. And I'm sticking with, I don't know. I like Sam Bennett.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't mind that.
I like his game.
Aiden O'Neill saying Marchand in his own building.
Okay.
That's a fair point.
Yep.
I could give that one to him. What were you going to say, though?
No, just Sam Bennett. I like his game. I hate playing against him, but love him on the team kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
One of those guys.
Imagine if it's Mitch.
Hey, he's already got a clutch goal for them. But I understand, like Jake Bowen-Moss, after that game, the Canada won to open up the tournament, was like, now you understand what Leafs fans get frustrated about. Like, he's all over the map during the game. He's frustrating you, not in the right place. And then he goes and he scores a game winner.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, oh, well, there you go. So I understand that. And was he a good fit with McDavid? No, not necessarily. But, I mean, it was a trial and error kind of run there. And like the one text said, now they have their lines sort of figured out. See what they go with. This text comes in with who I was going back and forth with earlier about the 72 Summit Series. This is a good one. I was hoping Maddie was about to ASL, which...
I think that meant ask.
Ask. This came in as ASL.
I saw that.
Which
That's
member of
hit me
Team
after.
Canada?
I read it as ASL too.
Let me restart that one. I was hoping Maddie was about to ask which member of Team Canada would most likely be visiting a Value Buds. It's Doughty, by the way. 100%.
Yeah.
Has to be.
I don't know. Jordan Binnington would be there for me. I don't know why.
Aiden Hill sticking with the goalie theme. He
I think the goalies would be somebody that I would look at.
Yeah.
Nathan McKinnon, definitely not.
No.
I can see a Cale McCarr wanting to just be calm, cool, and
I
all
don't
that.
know. He seems very focused.
What about Hagel?
Yeah.
Huh?
That one. Norman at Combine saying changing 53. I'll throw out the challenge today. You think Canada's going to win? Hit a like for this. If you don't hit a like, you think US is going to win today? Putting that out there.
Look at you go.
For those 178 people watching right now, if you don't like this, that means you're predicting the U.S. or you want U.S. to win.
Interesting.
Yeah. But if you hit that like button, you're predicting Canada and you want Canada. It's not a prediction. It's who you want to win. Hitting that like button, that means you want Canada to win. If you hit the dislike button or you don't do it at all, you want the Americans to win. Why are you against Canada, brah?
Great use of bruh.
Jay Mill, who loves using brah too, does say Jake Plummer has a mushroom farm in Colorado. That's what he has.
Hey, how about that kicker? Was it Cluey? Did you see that yesterday?
Yeah, former Vikings kicker.
Yeah. He got arrested for that?
He was at a council meeting. He made comments about the MAGA movement. And then he walked towards counselors. And then I think he just went to lie down because he just was protesting, like, I'm not moving.
Yeah.
And he had to be carried out there by cops. Like, they literally were picking up, and there's like 5 of them carrying him out. So I think he was just like a full, like, yeah, this is almost a sit-in.
Very articulate, well executed rant, I will say. I watched that. I was like, oh, this guy played in the NFL. Interesting. How about that? All right, text us 780-218-9999. Get into the nasty chat, Canada, USA. Anything else? Like we hit on
I think we've hit on a lot with that game.
Vladdy Guerrero Jr., state of the Blue Jays, F1. Anything you follow F1?
I watched the Drive to Survive. I really enjoy that. But
Yep, that's good.
I haven't got into sitting down and watching the races.
They had the big races are great because they're only like an hour and a little bit long.
That was perfect.
Yeah, it's quick. Like and they start at 7 usually our time on Sundays. And you can
See, that's the issue.
you can PVR it.
That's
I will
a
tell you
good
this
point.
right now.
Technology is crazy.
The F1 part that is great is you just click record.
Yeah.
You wake up, whenever you wake up, just don't look
Turn
at
it
your
on.
phone or make sure you don't have notifications. Walk over, turn it on, and boom.
While
you
you're
watch
making
the race.
breakfast, whatever, having
Good
coffee.
point.
It's I find it a very comfortable way to start a Sunday.
It is.
Yeah. I usually wake up mid-race, so I'll have the recording and I'll just start it and away we go. Yeah, it's quick. There's usually a lot of action.
It's one of the easiest sports to go spoil free.
Yeah.
To then throw it on and just press play and watch it.
Exactly.
And it's an hour and a half or whatever.
Well,
so
to prove that point, I'll watch the Drive to Survive a year after the season's kind of done, and I'm still surprised. Still learning things. We're almost in another season.
What do you think of the drivers in general?
I have divas.
Yeah.
They're all wide receivers.
Yeah, they're all little bebes.
Oh
right?
my goodness.
Yeah.
Jen Cool. Okay, fine, Maddie. LOL. Jet oil _ Tom. I'm all over it. Like button. So again, if you want Canada to win, you're gonna hit that like button. If you want the Americans to win, you're gonna do nothing or hit the dislike button. Just throwing that out there. Any update on Luke Wilson, Maddie? Which Abutski goes, it'd be spicy if EST brought Wilson aboard as a football analyst. Yeah, that ain't happening. There was a reach out from Dusty to try to get Wilson.
Did he really?
Yeah, at the start of football season. And I can't remember why it didn't happen.
I thought you meant since.
Oh, right.
No, not since. No, I can tell you right now, Luke Wilson will never be on this station. Not from he'll never agree to it now.
Yeah. Well, I've got other NFL insiders that we use anyway.
I'm glad we have Herm.
Herm's
There's other
great.
people to go with.
Yeah.
So no, there will not be a Tim Peel, Luke Wilson, Jesse Pollock hangout planned anytime
How
soon.
about this guy mixing it up?
I stand by those three. I stand by. I'll keep going with it. I'm not going to do it with anyone else. Generally, I've been pretty good on Twitter for the longest time.
You have been, but like
It's that
this
whole
last 2 weeks.
Have you seen Godfather 3?
No.
Okay, both of you.
I've never.
There's
seen
the
Godfather,
Al
so.
Pacino. They bring me back, and that was me with Twitter recently.
You are great when it comes to those back and forth situations. I like when Matthew stands his ground. Really well done.
I'm just gonna shake my head at those people.
Yeah, I'll
Some
give
of
you
those
some of those
people.
too.
A round of clicks.
I don't plan. I'll be intrigued. I'm intrigued by Tim Peel tonight. I'm assuming the Americans are going to boo the Canadian anthem. Is he going to say anything
They
about
probably will. Let's
that?
not kid ourselves. And
But
that's
he
fine.
came at and he says, I'm a Canadian too. He came at Canadians for the booing. Is he going to come at the Americans for booing? That's what I'm fascinated by.
Listen, man.
And if he doesn't, then guess who's going after Tim Peel tonight?
You're already in the drafts?
I don't know. I haven't written one out, but I will do one. I don't care. I have no time for Tim Peel. I'd stand by it. It's just no time for that guy.
Unless I'm tweeting at him.
You're tweeting at him?
No, you.
Oh, that's like it. No, it's like he's got to learn that he's an idiot.
He's not a beacon of merit or legitimacy.
No.
So
I think there's a lot of us that could get around the fact that I'm going after Tim Peel.
Yes.
Yeah. And then he also he went after Tyler Remchuk. He's my boy.
your own check's a beauty.
So once you do that, you open up the floodgates for me. Now it's on.
Lucas,
If Tim Peel went after anyone here, I'd go after them.
Yes,
Tim
you
Peel
would.
for you guys too.
Lucas says it's dangerous though for those who go out in public with Marty.
Yeah, there's a couple of instances. There was two where one time we went, it was myself, it was Lucas, it was Eric, it was Ryan. We went to an establishment for Canada, Honduras, the first game of World Cup qualifying. And somebody came up to us, like, and also like somebody came up to us offering us samples in like the 90th minute. Like, do you want to sample this? We're like, it's the end of the match. Like, go away. But somebody else came up and just like, which one of you's a Iwanyk? And there was like this just pause at the table. I was like, well, me. And like, we didn't know where this was going.
Yeah.
And it was like, he just wanted to thank me that he didn't know about the game.
No.
But Luke was at that time, like that could have been like really bad. Like he could have been like, Matt, we got to go outside. And then it was me, Luke, and Ryan outside of FC Edmonton. Luke reminded me of this one recently. We were waiting in line for tickets at FC Edmonton, and the same type of thing happened. Like, aren't you a Iwanyk? And it's like, uh-oh. That one was all good again too. But there was the, well, it's good knowing you guys. I'm about to get shot.
This way comes in, says, I'm not a big Jesse Pollock guy. Can I get the Cole's notes on that one?
Of me going after him?
Yeah, he did a rant about
the booing of the Canadian
The booing
anthem.
of
He
the
played the
Canadian
Canadian
anthem,
anthem. He went after Canadians. There's other stuff that Jesse has done on Twitter that I don't agree with. In who he's gone after. That was it. There was many reasons why I went after Jesse Pollock. Plus, I just don't like. I'm not going fully into that one.
No.
He's the Jets guy, right? Just
Yeah, that's on Bar Down with
Bar
TSN.
Down,
That does just these weird
It's-
things that
it's silly
he
stuff.
just yells
Yeah.
and all that, and that's apparently worth money, but radio stations across this country aren't.
Yeah.
And radio hosts on FM stations isn't worth it. But that, like, okay, cool. But that's not there was other reasons, just other things he's gone at that I just like, no, well then screw you. And everyone was dunking on Jesse Pollock on that one.
well,
Yeah. And the anthems are going to get booed. It feeds into it. We dislike that. Ours gets booed. The Americans don't like theirs getting booed. We're not booing the performer. Canada's standing up for itself.
I liked what you said yesterday too, or was maybe 2 days ago, where you said you stand up, take your hat off, and then boo.
Yeah, that's the other thing
That's
too.
pretty
Is
ironic.
like
That's
we're
interesting.
booing with our
Yeah.
hats off and standing.
Like the most respectful way to
Right.
boo something ever.
Yes. No one's sitting down. Like, I can't remember how long ago it was, but there was a time where in Quebec, they would sit for the Canadian national anthem.
Go figure.
And there was obviously friction. Do you remember the referendum in 93?
I was 2.
Oh, right. I was in
No.
elementary and it was like a big deal in our school. I was 7. Yeah. So anyway, but yeah, like that to me is pretty disrespectful. And you know, we've kind of forgotten about it, but obviously this is very top of mind. But yeah, the Canadians stood up, took off their hats, and politely booed.
Seth Jarvis is in. John Cooper says Travis Konechny is out. He's replacing Konechny for tonight. So there's the lineup change for Canada in this one. I will just JT Miller. Trump called the team today, the U.S. team.
Oh, sick.
JT Miller quote, "It was so awesome to get his support. It's a pretty big deal for him to take time out of his schedule to talk to us for 5 minutes. It's just another one of those things where we're kind of pinching ourselves this tournament." Noah Hannafin going on the call today with Trump. Hopefully we can get the win tonight for our country and for Trump. They're not doing themselves favors. Of the booing, I will say, is very quickly over the last few days. For a lot of Canadians, it's not. It's now including the players.
Yep.
It's not booing it's not booing the singer. It's not booing the entire country or anything. It's booing the administration. And now I will tell you, if there's Canadians in that audience that are booing, they are also now directing some of that towards the players directly.
Is he going to the game tonight?
Nope.
No, that's good.
There's a governor's meeting or something, or governor's thing that's happening in
That he
DC.
can fall asleep in?
So pretty much.
He does call it ice hockey, so that's how much he knows the game. So, there you go. There's that.
Yeah, Bootski, I think, said this, and Scotty knows Americans booing Canada during the Oilers 06 playoff run was a thing with no idiotic president or PM involved. Scotty knows. I distinctly remember Anthem being booed in Carolina in 06. It's the same, like the one thing else, like it's not an Anthem part to this, but America's the one that like in golf, there'll be that American versus a European late on the leaderboard on a Sunday, and they'll just start chanting USA, 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 and like, so they're no
angels.
Yes, there you go. That's what I'm looking for.
I got you.
I won't lie though. I will say this just about our Canadian players. I just really wish one Canadian player had said something, not about the booing, not saying they agree with it or whatever. I just wish they would have said something about how proud they are that Canada's its own nation. They didn't even have to bring up 51st state. They didn't even have to bring up the idea of us, the future of it. They just wish somebody would have said that we will forever be a nation.
Win the game.
Hopefully someone says
one
something.
of them gets an interview and has their Haley Wickenheiser moment.
I would really hope so. I would,
and says something to that effect that you just described.
There has to be a player that's playing on a Canadian team. I understand the concerns that an like a player on Canada that's playing for an American team might have for saying that. I do. I could give a bit of a break for that, but for the Canadian player, I would like one to have that Haley Wickenheiser moment, which would be absolutely amazing. We all remember the Haley Wickenheiser moment. I would love that. I would love if that's what this whole tournament was for them, was we're not publicly speaking unless we win this whole thing.
Yeah. I think if that were to occur,
if a player does that, I will put money where my mouth is. I will go buy the Canadian jersey from this Four Nations with their name on it from Pro-Am Sports if I can.
Yes, you will.
I'll go get it done. I don't care what player it is. I'll go spend that money.
Josh Morrissey.
Sure. I'll be Morrissey on the back, the Canadian jersey. I will get that done. I will go forever love that player for the rest of my life. Oh, I forgot to put up the graphic for Finish the Long Drink when
there
I did
we go.
it.
Finish the Long Drink. You can have a couple of those tonight. Watching the game. Pride of 1952.
Legend of
1952. When I was in Helsinki, man, everybody's like, did you try the long drink? They had it on tap. Big deal. And I got the whole shebang on it. It was very good. And it's great that we have it in can form here.
I think I'm missing a card.
Well, you've been throwing them very
I know, but
willy-nilly.
Brendan brings them and puts them in a nice pile to me, and I think he forgot one. Portions of this hour brought to you by the High Product Marketing, official merch partner of Edmonton Sports Stock. Promotional products that bring the buzz. Check them out, thehighproductmarketing.com. I don't need the card for that one. Boom. But it'd be nice to have that. Get all your merch needs from the Hive. Kevin Van Dasselaar. I know he was talking with Chelsea from the Hive
he was.
at the Funspiel. So they do great work. If you want anything, go check them out. Also, a reminder that on February the 15th, we do have the Heavy Hockey Showdown. Team EST taking on Team Heavy Hockey. We're raising funds in support of SACE, which is the Sexual Assault Center of Edmonton. Go to edmontonsportstalk.com. At the very top, there's, if you're on the desktop, at the very top, it says HH Showdown. If you're on the mobile, just click the 3 bars, and inside that menu, there's HH Showdown. That takes you to our fundraising page. We'd greatly appreciate any support that you can give us. Dusty's playing, Tommy's playing, Zach's playing, Trev's playing, hopefully Belzy's playing, Tommy's brother's playing, my brother's playing, Corey B's playing.
Corey B, I think Cash,
I think's in it. Savage is back in it.
Savage, all right.
Bryce, the Sparky of the Combine crew's in it. Glenn Ma's in it.
Glenn Ma coming up from
comes
Calgary.
up. I don't. If I'm missing anyone else, apologies. You could also go and donate to any of them or anyone on the Heavy Hockey Showdown pages.
Dash and Michael from Heavy Hockey.
But speaking of Dash and Michael, they have Oilers Live. They will be live. They're usually Wednesday nights. They're going to go live tonight, 9:00. So we're going to have a little bit of a post-game show for Canada, US that they're going to provide us here on Edmonton Sports Talk, edmontonsportstalk.com, or any of our YouTube channels, or go to their YouTube channel if you want to watch it later tonight.
Excellent.
So that's all to come here. I don't know what Jay's saying there. I'll have to get back. Text me something. Because he said, I'll have to get to that after.
Okay.
I'm a little confused. So... there's not much. Oh, you have a concert you're going to tonight.
What concert are you going to?
Well, he's working.
A concert?
No,
Well,
he has to work it.
Work.
What?
A perfect day for it. Yeah. I street team for Bell. It is.
It's Our Lady Peace.
Yeah.
Oh, that's tonight?
Yeah.
Damn.
Down at Rogers.
Yeah.
That's
They were
how
in
we
Calgary
found
last
Zach
night.
to come.
Yeah.
He was street teaming for us too
I
back in the day.
You got your bear shirt on.
Oh, look at that.
ready to go.
Good partners with the bear.
He's going to go see. I have something to give Jess Jackson. He's going to go deliver it for me today.
She's the best. We
I
love
miss
those guys.
Jess.
Yeah, we do.
Good people.
Very good people. You know, I was on that street team
Nope, I did
many
not.
moons ago with Ryan Meyer from Whale and the Wolf.
I did 2 street team shifts in my
You
life.
did 2 street teams.
That's it. I was just mostly an op after that. I just sat behind that board.
I tried to op once on what was the other before it became
Easy Rock.
Virgin? Easy Rock. Yeah, I did not know what I was doing. We had dead air for a couple minutes.
TSN people are the best. We're the best ops by far. I knew that board so well. I missed that board.
Let's go buy one.
Oh, I can't.
Why?
Oh, that stuff's way too expensive.
They're not using it.
I asked
Did you
Trev Stewart.
actually?
When I went for lunch with our old engineer, Trev Stewart, and this was about a year ago now, almost or so, last June. And I was like, if you guys ever sell the 1260 board, like let me know first. Like, I want to know how much. I will think. And he's like, we're using it for parts. I was like, damn it.
Oh.
We're a graveyard. And I'm like,
Yeah,
no.
we are.
I would have loved that board. I worked on that board my entire time there. They didn't change the board once. I had that one board and I loved it. It was a great board. I would have taken that board in a heartbeat for what we're doing here.
I remember when we were trying to figure out what to do with Hello Hockey. We were offered the studio there, and Belzy and I were just like, weird.
Yeah.
No, thank you. Yeah. That studio. These ones are nicer. I'd say ours are nicer, like more comfortable.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I did technically. I was
Yeah.
very Canadian. Albertan. Oh, yeah.
For sure.
That one came out really very. It's just like from a producer perspective where we sat. Like I hate like when I filled in for JMO for like the 10 months while he was off for his cancer treatment and I had a host. It bothered me a little bit that I didn't have my board with me and picking the music and having the entire controls and like because it was a good setup for the producer.
Yes.
It was just solid. We could run it and I could do things with that board. That was so much fun. That I do miss. That's one thing. One day we'll have it here.
The one that got away, eh? Seat in your eyes.
It was.
There were some good things there.
That was
There
one
were
of
some
those
really
things.
good
And then the
things
people.
there.
Actually, I got to do
people were
the
great.
Tecmo return to play schedule soon here.
There we go. See?
I got to start getting that going because
Boiler Guy Dennis says, I'm in the heavy hockey tournament as well. He's playing in net,
Sweet.
obviously.
sweet. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, we also have a text saying, it's Surveyor Brett saying, hey, Maddie, can you have anyone on the Nasties who is interested in reffing the Heavy Hockey Showdown to email me their resume at b_luch@hotmail.com.
Or if you want to ref in the Heavy Hockey Showdown March 15th, message me, Matt, at edmontonsportstalk.com or go to edmontonsportstalk.com in the mail for me, and I could send you to Surveyor Brett too. So what was the email again?
b_luch@hotmail.com. That's Surveyor Brett's email.
Or just get in touch with me if you forget that at any point, and I'll put you in touch.
Story time from Lucas from the old station.
Please. Oh, Luke's got some good stuff.
Lucas says, I saw Lachlan Cross almost jump over the Easy Rock board and kill Sienna Collins.
When Luke, what's the word? Reenacts that, it is unbelievable.
What on God's green earth happened in that studio that
You'd have to ask Luke, but all I remember the story was like he just slammed the table and went, I'm going to come over there. And if Luke will correct me on all this, but I think he was like early just learning to train and he's new to the building and
No kidding.
that happened. There were some wild things that happened with that one.
Well, the Bear Morning Show when I was a street teamer was like, that was still the Paul Brown, Jillian Foote, Yukon Jack era. And then there was some interesting people over at Easy Rock. Very nice. And then 1260 had some strong personalities at the time as well. And yeah, it was an interesting. And then you had CTV, which was still like full on, very, very popular. I think it was the #1 news channel. And that newsroom was humming along. But so it was a busy building with a lot of personality in there.
Ron Clark, Sienna Collins was the morning
What was
show.
Shannon?
Shannon Medalia
She
was
was
a
super
little
nice.
bit of evenings and weekends, I think.
She was great.
Because she also did producer work.
Yeah.
Carrie Collins was during the day. I forgot who, or was she drive?
That's who
I'm
I had
missing
to
someone
opt
else.
for.
Because then Jason Roberts came in and he was there for a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm missing someone else in that. AC Chambers. Luke will remember AC Chambers. He was there for a bit. He was a fun guy. Ron Clark, I'll just throw this out there. If anyone ever wants a story about that, just if you ever see Ryan Meyer, just ask for that story. That's all I'll say.
He was very nice. All my experiences with him, he's very nice.
Oh, there was some weird stuff that we had at that place. Just that story in itself was just, yeah. That's all I can say.
Gold medal Mark, who's no stranger to radio, obviously. Strong personality in radio. Shocking. Love you guys, Gold medal Mark. Love you too, Gold medal Mark.
And then he's CKUA and CJSR. He's on tomorrow morning.
Yes.
And then Saturday on CJSR and Saturday night
Signature.
on CKUA. Portions of this hour of the EST Hangout. They are brought to you by Lloydsad Insurance Brokers, Lloydsad.com, one of Alberta's largest and most trusted independent insurance brokerages. If you're a business looking for any sort of insurance, connect with fellow nasty, Kevin Bondel. For more information, Lloydsad.com. And, oof, that was awful. My throw was awful for those listening. They were the proud presenting sponsors of the EST Fun Spiel, which took place this past Saturday. I don't think there's anything else really in sports going on today. Like there's some like how many NBA games are there?
9.
There's 9 tonight. Like
So who are the Raptors going to lose to tonight?
The Raptors do not play tonight.
Oh,
You got Lakers, Trailblazers after the Lakers lost yesterday. Grizzlies, Pacers, Celtics, 76ers, Magic, Hawks, Cavs, Nets, Bulls, Knicks, Clippers, Bucks. Who, by the way, Bobby Porter just got suspended 21 games or something for anti-drug policy. Hornets, Nuggets, Suns, Spurs. Suns, Spurs is a pretty decent match, but I would say Clippers, Bucks is a decent match, but it's not a great schedule on the NBA tonight.
First game of spring training at 1:05 this afternoon.
But I'm thinking for like Four Nations tonight, what they're going up against.
Oh,
That game's on ESPN. It's not on ABC. If I'm like, they had 4.4-ish million. I'm off with my numbers down in the South. Not Canadian numbers up here. They had about 4.4 down there on the Saturday. Now, Saturday versus Thursday changes it a little bit, but I could see them getting more tonight. It's also like you're not competing with anyone.
well,
Like
it's the
there's
same
no
day
real
as the
competition.
NBA All-Star game. That got 4.7 million or something.
Right.
Like and nationally down south, so it's 5 o'clock TNT, Celtics 76ers, 7:30 TNT, Suns, Spurs. Celtics 76ers, records wise, big discrepancy. 2 big markets and 2 big teams. But in the end, like I even think Bostonians will defer to hockey more than watching their Celtics play, especially if that starts at 5. That one could be.
Well, both of those cities, big markets, yes, but both hockey cities.
Yeah. So I think like the hockey is prime for a big ratings boon tonight, I would have to say. Because I just don't know what else would be in competition. And like if I go to ESPN right now, I bet it's the top headline.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, no. Lakers. It was the top headline when I went on their website yesterday. I'm surprised. On their website, that was on my app. On the website, it is spring training. That is the top headline.
There was an
that's small.
update on the call from the president to Team USA. They had technical difficulties with the Zoom call, so they had to do it on Bill Guerin's cell phone.
No way.
That's too bad. That's too bad.
You'd think both those organizations should have Zoom figured out,
Yep. In theory.
in theory.
Where I could see where that would be an issue, truthfully, is like the government would Zoom with other governments and they're all secure.
Mm.
And I could see U.S. hockey maybe not having as secure of a line that you need if you're
Okay.
going to communicate with the president of the United States.
Yeah.
I don't care who the president is of the United States.
Use one of his burner
the
phones.
secures that the security that you would need. That's where I could see the issue coming up on that.
That makes sense.
They would know how to Zoom with each other, but I don't know how much the White House ever really Zooms with other people beyond top officials themselves.
Yeah.
Type thing.
Let's just FaceTime. I'm just kidding. Text
TikTok
comes
each
in.
other. Hey fam, getting ready for Four Nations today.
Oh, speaking of which, my Instagram is just flooded with outfit of the days and get ready with me's. Awful. Text comes in, says, Tommy, any update on Evander Kane? No trade list. Heard from an excellent source that he would put all capped out teams as his teams he would accept a trade to. Any update on? No update. He did skate after the Oilers, the main group, the other day, so that's good. No, nothing on like the modified no trade list, and yeah, sounds like I was told he would likely put teams that the Oilers couldn't trade him to on that list.
That's tomorrow's a big day because it's 2 weeks away from deadline. And I know going into Four Nations, there was talk that they'd be busy this time of year, these 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Teams were going to make moves.
Silent.
And it was complete silence.
Yeah.
It's no longer trade deadline day in the National Hockey League. It's the weeks leading up.
Yeah.
And so now over the next 2 weeks, there's going to be just not talk. There's going to be a lot of moves that are going to start happening. I wonder who's the first teams, I guess.
Do you think Rantanen moves again?
That's an interesting question.
There's so much buzz around that is there any merit to it?
If you're, what's his name? That's the GM there now.
Erick Tulsky.
Thank you. What I could see is maybe you're sitting there going, we brought in Rantanen because we're going to flip him somewhere. Or like maybe they had conversations and they think he's not going to sign.
That was a big risk.
And we flip him and we get different pieces to bolster our team.
Mm.
We're not maybe Tulsky sitting there going, Natchez isn't as big of a part of their future. They can afford to lose him.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're going to get Rantanen. They're going to trade Rantanen because they're going to get this piece, this piece, this piece. That makes their roster fuller.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be the only thing that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
By the way, for off the air, okay, you're reading it. Yeah.
Can I read that on the air?
No, I would
That's
say
for off
that
the
one
air?
for off the air.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say that one completely for off the air. Lucas is explaining the entire situation that happened for Tommy. But that'd be the only reason I'd see that you'd trade Rantanen more is that, okay, you bring in that piece because you probably think, okay, Natchez could get us, well, he gets us Rantanen, but now we can get multiple pieces for Rantanen that fills out our roster even more.
Yep.
And we get 2 or 3 pieces for our lineup as opposed to having the one, because this is a guy that's going to walk in the summer and stuff.
What
But
a
I don't know
move.
who would want to trade for him.
Ballsy.
I don't know if we've ever seen that fully. I think the closest thing is Taylor Hall. Taylor Hall was
Being
traded
bounced.
to Arizona
Yeah.
early in the season. I think it was like November, like December or something. Was he not? And then did they not flip him at the deadline?
No,
again?
because he played in the bubble for the Coyotes,
Oh, did he?
and they qualified it. Did they not qualify for the main? No, they got into the preliminary round, and I think they lost to Nashville. Am I remembering that right? Something like that. But then he quickly signed, I think, with like Buffalo.
Yeah.
It was.
You're right.
Yeah.
So he was traded on December. I think what I'm misremembering there, I think there was talk that maybe the Coyotes would trade him at that deadline
Mhm.
because they weren't as high up as maybe some would have thought. Like they were in that spot, but
Yeah.
and then he stuck, and then he signed the 1-year deal, the show me deal with Buffalo. But that was also just because like there was a lot of, that was when Barry came here.
Yep.
On the show me 1-year deal because the cap didn't go up and no one had the ability to shell out a
Mhm.
bunch of money. And then he was in Boston.
Yeah. Buffalo gave him 1 year, $8 million. Yeah.
I'd be surprised if Rantanen does move, but it'd also be one of those like that'd be shocking.
I don't think he signs there long term though.
I think if I'm Rantanen's camp, I'm telling him to go to the market now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like you owe nothing
Absolutely.
to Carolina. You owe him 0. With Colorado, it might be tougher,
Mm-hmm.
but you owe the Hurricanes absolutely nothing. Maybe he goes back to the Avs.
Can you imagine?
Maybe he signs
That'd
with
be
them in
wild.
the offseason.
He's going to be there, Stephen Dunbar Jr. Like that reference? I don't know, man. Good on Tulsky for taking a big swing, but super risky. Like, and even when they asked Tulsky, I think it was a week after the deal, like, hey, any progress with trying to get a deal done? And it was a non-answer. It's like that's a roundabout way of saying no. And if I was renting in, I would, like you said, Maddie, go to market. There's other destinations where you can get a big ticket. Maybe you don't get that 8th year, but that's okay. You're still gonna get. You're gonna be the free agent this summer.
You don't see that often.
No,
in the National League.
The
They
double
ripped it.
flip?
No, just big name free agents. Like who was the last? Like JT.
To hit
yeah,
market?
Tavares.
At the high,
Like
like Ryan
big-
Suter, Zach Parise,
Those ones.
when they went to Minnesota, were
Yeah.
bigger ones.
Tavares was a big one.
Tavares was a
Remember
bigger
when
one,
Stamkos went to market and then he circled back
Yeah.
to Tampa.
but he didn't hit market because that was the same day Taylor Hall got traded. So
Well, I
it's,
thought he
I
was
think
going
at the
to.
time there was. And I
Malkin
remember-
did that.
I think the NHL had a little tampering window themselves,
Right.
And then they've gotten rid of that or something.
Yeah,
It
because
doesn't get
like
talked
the
about
Leafs
anymore.
had a
But they
big offer.
they had a chance to talk to him,
Yeah.
and then he ended up signing with Toronto, but it wasn't July 1st because Hall was traded before July 1st.
Are we talking Tavares or Stamkos?
Stamkos.
He didn't sign with Toronto. He signed back with Tampa.
I know, but he talked with Toronto.
He
I
did
think,
talk. Yes.
because there was a tampering window
Correct.
at the time,
Yes.
and I don't know if they still do the tampering window. It's not as public as maybe as it
I
used to
can't
be.
remember.
Because
Man,
it
they've
was
changed
because
so
it was
many
an hour where Hall got traded, Stamkos signed, PK Subban got traded.
Yeah, I was at West Ed that day. I'd sit on a couple benches, take it all in.
Dave Jameson had Scott Miller to talk about a piece on Lenny Dykstra he wrote, where we had to be like, yeah, we got to end with Steve here or Scott here, and then we had to deal with that. So yeah, there was that like that tampering. So Stamkos never actually hit the market. Other big names.
Malkin did dabble and just circled back to Pittsburgh. I remember that. It was like a year or two ago.
Ilya Kovalchuk was a guy that was on the
That
market.
contract. That
13
one,
years.
that had some big CBA ramifications.
Hossa has hit multiple times.
Yeah.
But again, it's the fact that we're like talking over the last almost 20 years.
Mhm.
And we're only naming one shows the loyalty hockey players have, and that's Gaudreau would have been the other one.
I guess.
Yeah.
Gaudreau
Yeah.
would have been a major one.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a big one.
And it would have been Kachuk, but then the Flames traded him. But that's one of the reasons why I always felt like was never worried about McDavid or
No.
Draisaitl leaving, partly because hockey players are loyal.
Yeah.
Hockey players stick around, and that's not something that you see often in
Like NBA.
NBA.
Even
It doesn't happen
baseball.
anymore.
Baseball, especially.
Baseball,
Like besides Mike Trout.
it's a mix, I would say. Like Aaron Judd stuck around.
yeah, but you're on the
Right.
Yankees. Why do you want?
Well, Vladdy wants to stick around to a degree.
to a degree.
It's not wanting to take a pay cut to stick around, but
No.
why should he?
Yeah.
Football, what I'll go with is like the
The
quarterback and the
stay.
receivers stay.
Yeah.
The quarterback and the receivers stick around because the teams generally are going to pay them, and you don't get top movement. So there is a little bit of loyalty on that one. But hockey players are just generally more, and the cap just calls for that loyalty to a degree.
True.
Before the cap, there was a lot. The Rangers and the Red Wings and the Leafs try to sign everyone.
And you were right about the Rangers. You were talking about it yesterday. Like they would just build a team of all-stars and there was no chemistry.
Never
And
made the playoffs.
It was Glenn Sather that was at the helm. And I remember, I think there's a quote like Sather said something, if I had the Rangers payroll, I'd be able to win a Stanley Cup every year, or I'd be in the Cup final every year. And they barely made the playoffs.
They didn't.
Yeah.
To a degree.
Yeah.
When they missed a lot.
They're bad teams.
Rangers seasons. I don't know when. Do you remember when Glenn went there?
2000, 2001 was his first year.
2000, 2001.
Yeah. Because Kevin took over as GM here after 1 year as head coach. Mac T came in. Yeah, it was Mac T's first year as head
2000, 2001, they did not make the playoffs. So their last playoff appearance was 96-97 when they lost in the conference finals to Phillies.
With
The
Wayne.
next appearance they made was in 05-06 after the lockout. They missed the playoffs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straight years. And that included years where they just Bobby Holik was a big signing.
Bobby Holik.
Forgot about Bobby
Oh,
Holik.
yeah.
That was
awful.
a big signing. And they just, for agency, two things you knew. Rangers are going to sign names. And right before free agency, Glenn Sather would do the Oilers a favor by trading them somebody like Mike Richter, who then would sign with the Rangers the next day, and the Oilers would get a draft pick out of it.
They did that with Messier. Messier, his rights were flipped back to Edmonton briefly. I was like, there's a chance. And then he signed with the Rangers.
There would always be an Oilers-Rangers move at the deadline.
Yeah.
It always seemed like Peter Nedved was one of those guys.
Mike York.
Mike York.
That was a
Wow,
great.
okay.
He was actually a pretty good Oiler for a little while. Yeah.
My dad got a jersey of Mike York.
You got traded for Mike Pekka. That actually worked out okay.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It was. I forgot about.
I think Mike York was the Oilers' representative at an All-Star game too.
He's a good player.
He was a good player. He had a very brief window where he was good to quite good.
Yeah, it was Glenn Sather always still did favors for the Edmonton Oilers, even when he was with the New York Rangers.
I do remember Peter Chiarelli in 2015, the Connor McDavid draft, going over to the Rangers table and talking to Glenn Sather, and they were working out the Cam Talbot deal. And because I think Talbot's had to be sold on or convinced to come here. And it took some time, and the Rangers had some options where what they could have sent Talbot. And I remember watching our media level seating. I looked, and there was Peter with a record and guide book that was so famously quoted by Ken Holland. And he was talking to Glenn, and sure enough, like 15 minutes later, Talbot was traded to the Oilers.
This is going to be the first draft coming up that is non-centralized, isn't it?
Yeah,
NHL, isn't that? Because it's being held in Peacock Theater in LA this year.
that's right at LA Live. So that's
Yeah.
right outside of
And that's-
Staples Center.
What do they host there?
Crypto.com Arena.
It's a 7,100 seat arena.
Yeah, it's
so
like right in that
yeah.
LA Live Plaza.
They most notably home like the primetime Emmys and stuff like that. But I think now this is the first time that the NHL draft, because they were going to decentralize it.
So it's like the NFL draft now.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, starting this year. So everyone's in their own facilities. The players still go, and there's, I'm assuming just there'll be the photo op with the commish.
Yeah.
You stand up there, you get your jersey. Then if it's like the NFL, those players would fly out to Edmonton almost immediately and or the respective cities. And then they could meet the media the next day. That's how they do it in the NFL, I know. Like first round pick happens on the Thursday, the Friday, the media is able to speak and meet the first round pick. And the next day it's like you can meet some of the other picks and stuff.
How do you like that?
I don't mind it. The draft, honestly, Brendan, like I've covered, what did I do, like covered 7 of them, been to like 8. I was at the one here in 95. Outside the first like 5 picks and the lead up with the events, like it's not that great of an event. It
That's
really
fair.
isn't. Like,
But even like for something like Talbot and Chiarelli walking over to Sather,
yeah.
like, is there going to still be that type of conversation?
Now
even
it's phone
though
calls.
now it's
Yeah, you
phone
pick up the
calls?
phone. It might actually make more, like, I don't know, maybe it
would be easier?
You're not worried that, people are going to see me like, I'm going to go talk to this guy just to see what his summer plans are. Which cottage you going to this year, and then everyone's going to be, oh my God, they're trading.
Yeah.
They're making a trade. What's going on?
And those guys would do that to mess with people, with the media.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
that
no,
was
that's great.
like a deliberate thing.
But maybe for them, they're more like, okay, well, I'm open to having that conversation. I'm not worried about other teams maybe hearing what I'm saying or anything like that. Maybe that leads to stuff. I don't know. It works for the NFL.
Yeah, absolutely.
Works for the NBA. I'm guessing that's how baseball does their draft too. It works for them. I get it's to save money.
Yeah.
And it would for the Oilers. It sucked last year for them, I'm assuming. You played on the 24th, and then you have to get everyone ready
3
to
days
go.
later.
You're crushed that you lost the game 7. And it's like, okay, well, we got to get to the draft this week.
Yeah.
Like it's days away, and we've got to now get everyone and go there after all this travel we've just done. For Florida, it's like, well, they're wanting to party, and it's like you're right into the draft though.
That reminds me, like during the conference final and the cup final, I remember obviously all the Oilers staff, all like pro scouts, amateur scouts, all of hockey ops, everybody was there because it's the conference final and the cup final. But on top of that, I would be like, oh, this is so exciting. What do you guys like? You guys just like ripping it up. And all of them were like, no, we have our meetings. The draft is like a couple days after what would be game 7. And I'm like, oh yeah. And so it wasn't really like they were trying to enjoy it, but at the same time, there was a lot of meetings going on, planning for next season, for this season that we're having right now. They were doing interviews to get guys brought in as pro scouts and new amateur scouts. Like all of that was happening while the cup final and the conference final were happening. It was very strange because you're like, oh, we're looking ahead to 2024-25. By the way, we're in the conference final and Stanley Cup final. So it was this weird tap dance that everyone in the hockey ops department was doing. You knew Kenny was on his way out. It was crazy. It was just very bizarre because you get that shot of somebody be like, hey, yeah, we had meetings today and we're looking at next year. We're looking at the draft. We're looking at free agency. I'm like, oh, yeah, it's June 17th. Free agency is 2 weeks away. You guys are in Stanley Cup final. Weird. It was a very strange time that way.
I think what would be nice for some of the teams too, like if there was the first round pick, trading and all that stuff. Why am I like if I'm Daryl Case? Why am I flying everyone there for the second round pick and the third round and the fourth? Round? And like if the teams are smart, you do some sort of season ticket holder event the day after with the first round pick for the rounds you do have the first round.
Unveil
you go, you have a nice event at the Molson House inside Rogers for select season ticket holders.
Yeah.
And there's a meet and greet, or you can come take a photo with the first round pick.
Yeah.
That's where I would say you do that as opposed to, okay, well, he still stays with the team out there for a few days and they fly back and then he's going to come for development camp initially. Well, do it right away. There's a nice excitement about this. Have them meet the season ticket holders. Have a nice little event. Watch I guess, his draft's Friday night and then the rest is the next day morning.
Yeah.
So I was going to say maybe watch the rest of the draft with him there. But
oh, hi, Jay Mel.
what is this? Jay brought us his sausage.
Yeah. Did you not follow his Instagram stories?
No, I don't go on Insta.
Yeah. A live chase.
Only
Sorry,
with you.
Jay,
Matthew's
you
the
made
first.
this? Okay, I'm just getting it.
Okay, is it just sausage or salami?
It's delicious.
I'm gonna have some with the cracker.
I'm going to try with the cracker. This is great for those listening. Jay just walked in with a plate of crackers and salami not his salami, a salami he made. Food salami.
Jay Milne, this is very good.
Pretty good, eh?
Well done.
That one.
You rub garlic season on the outside, on your sausages. Okay. All over your sausages. Okay.
I don't know
That's
what
good to
that's
know.
supposed to mean, but okay.
There we go. Actually, that's amazing.
That's good to quite good.
Absolutely. I won't eat anymore. I promise. I always find it weird when people are eating on the air.
I have a follow-up to the draft thing. So Edmonton's supposed to get either a draft or an all-star game.
Yes.
The luster of the draft, I think, with the way the NHL's gone, has kind of worn off. Does Edmonton still want that all-star game, or has the Heritage Classic kind of
I think you still want
satisfied
it.
those needs?
I think you still want it. I think you want the stars here. There's an all-star game next year.
Mm-hmm.
There's the Olympics.
There's an all-star game with the Olympics?
Yes. They're going to New York. They're in the island next year. 2026. That has been announced.
But honestly, the all-star game is 3 days.
Why is there an all-star game in an Olympic year?
I don't know.
Like the NHL, but now you're getting another pause for the season. So we're going to start.
It's honestly 3 days.
But
Like you can cram it in.
that's 5 days worth of a break probably, because you need to get people fly. You're missing maybe 1 to 2 hockey games for teams. I just don't know why why we need an all-star game next year. So in January we're going to pause for an all-star game, then we're going to play a little bit more hockey, and then we're going to pause for the Olympics, and then we're going to play more hockey.
The bye week's probably gone then, right?
Snip, snap, snip, snap, snip, snap.
Snips. Where did you come up with that?
Michael Scott.
Yeah, I was going to say
The
that's
Office.
an office pull.
Snip, snap, snip, snap, snip, snap.
He's going back and forth. It's hard on a man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The regular season, we're going snip, snap, snip, snap, snip, snap. Starting the regular season, pausing it, starting, pausing, starting.
So glad I don't follow The Office.
Have you never seen The Office?
I watched it, but like religiously. Like I don't know the
That is one of the most famous quotes, I would
snap,
say.
snap. I know the Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott quote. I know D'Angelo Vickers when Will Ferrell was on there, but I'm a big fan of Creed Bratton. I've
Yeah.
gone back and watched the best of Creed Bratton, but like
Apparently, he is actually a little, like his name is Creed in real life. Apparently, he's a little bit of an odd person, too.
he was in
I
like
think you'd have to be to play that role.
well, yeah, but he was in like a band, like a big band in the 60s. I can't remember the name of them, but he got kicked out because at a festival, they went on stage for their set and he had taken some LSD and he was like playing accordion but he didn't have an accordion. He was so high that he thought he was playing the accordion while they were trying to perform.
Okay, I have a connection to the office that's so random, but somebody we worked with at Bell, one day on his Facebook, he was a best man at a wedding, and the person he was a best man of was marrying Angela from The Office, whose maid of honor was Jenna Fisher, Pam from The Office.
No kidding.
What?
That's pretty cool.
It was just wild.
Wow.
And this guy worked with us at Bell. He was like on the street team and stuff.
What?
I know. And it was just, yeah, there's a picture like also one day on Facebook, and it's his.
Oh my goodness.
He's in a
That's
picture
insane.
with Angela and Pam from The Office. And you're like, whoa,
That's crazy.
Okay, that's interesting.
Creed Bratton was in a band called The Grassroots, and he got kicked out because, he got high before their performance at a festival, and he was their guitarist, but he was playing like air accordion, and they were like, "You're out."
Erick sent us the spinning and reeling. It was in the nasty chat. Yeah, I think the NHL should do, like, if I was the commissioner, it would be, okay, we're doing the All-Star Olympics. There's no All-Star game. Next year, it's an All-Star game. The year after is World Cup. The next year is the All-Star game. Do the All-Star game every 2 years.
But for like 90% of the NHL that doesn't get to participate in either of those, that's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, it'd be great.
Couple
Certain
decent
players.
breaks.
Yeah, but for
Don't
the
hate that.
stars, it's like, well, when do I get a break?
You don't.
No break. You're a star.
Yeah.
That's why I get the big bucks.
Sucks you are
I know.
really good at this sport.
I got in trouble once. I think it was on 1260 when I called like I called them the scrubs get to go off to Cabo while the stars have to go to the All-Star game.
Who got mad at you?
Listeners calling fourth liners like scrubs and stuff. And I was like, for the meaning. Because it was actually because I defended Brad Marchand's comments about not wanting to have an All-Star game in like Edmonton. I was like, I
don't
get
blame
it.
him.
I get it.
Like,
Yeah.
and that's where it's like the scrubs of hockey. Everyone else, and that's right. But they get to go to Cabo, they get to go to Hawaii, and
And now you're going to come to Edmonton in
the
January.
Stars have to come to Edmonton in January, February, where it could be cold. And it's like,
yeah.
I totally get that.
But it's almost spring, so they should be okay with it.
And then you miss. We're close to it, and when you oh my god,
What?
when you're close to it mentally, you're almost over. When they come here, they don't get it close to it. Victor Wembanyama is out for the season.
No way.
Oh,
He's expected to be sidelined for the remainder of the 24-25 season with a shoulder injury, according to multiple reports. That's a TSN alert I just got.
That man is like an anomaly.
how tall is he? 7'6"?
Yeah. But he moves well. He shoots well. You get the gangly limbs. That's
And Frank Saravalli. Flames expected to place veteran D-man Tyson Barrie on waivers today.
don't ask if the Oilers are going to pick him up.
Should the Oilers pick him up?
Oh my God. Probably not. Although he is Vibe Daddy. That was his nickname.
Vibe Daddy?
Vibe Daddy. He was awesome. He's an awesome guy. Really good dude.
Well, what's his salary?
I think it's like 800,000.
I was going to say league
it's
min.
pretty cheap.
Well, if Ivan Bouchard's not scoring goals on the power play right now.
Problem solved.
It's not oil stream day today, is it?
No.
No, it's two guys and a goalie.
Oh, dang it.
Reed with Gager and Cass coming up. His cap, it's only 1.25.
Yeah. There you go. Not even-
Interesting. Yeah, so today we've got Lock Shop coming up. Dusty Haas, I think Jake. Yesterday, they did shows in two different rooms, which makes
I know.
sense to me. You got Dusty Haas. Dusty who had that lobster roll for the first time. I'm surprised he ordered one.
So am I, actually.
I just surprised he didn't take a bite of Huss's or something, like cut off a piece of Huss's to try it white. And he
Yeah.
took a big bite of that. I'll give him credit for that.
He read that line, the wicked had, haba. The best line I ever got, we met Stubby Clapp in Boston. He was coaching the AA All-Star game, but we were going to the
course
Red
he
Sox
was.
game the next day. And they're like, Stubby. And we're like, is that Stubby Clapp? And it was a random Tuesday in the summer. And sure enough, it was. And he's like, how do you guys, we were like, are you Stubby Clapp? He's like, yeah. How do you guys know? We're like, we're from Edmonton. He's like, no way. He invited us to the All-Star game the next day. We're like, we're going to the Red Sox game. We were leaving that bar. And then we go to the bouncer, like, hey, can we hop on the subway to get back to our hotel? And the guy's like, nah, yeah, effed. But he said the word, and I was like, that accent's amazing.
Jamie Campbell once told me that he was in town for a thing with Nate and stuff, and Stubby Clapp just took like a bunch of wasabi. Like just grabbed and put it in his mouth and didn't blink. Just like crushed it, and I was like, whoa, okay, he's a Interesting character. Lock Shop, Dusty, Huss coming up. We've got 2 guys and a goalie. We got EST Afternoons. We got the Reed Wilkins Show with Jay Milne. 6 o'clock, Canada, USA. Hudson's on White. As well as tonight, 9 o'clock, the Oilers live crew. They will be on with a little bit of a post-game show for Canada, USA. On behalf of Brendan, Tommy, I am Matt. Thanks for tuning in to the EST Hangout, presented by Sentinel Storage, Canada's storage experts. Go Canada. That's any predictions?
Canada.
Any prediction? Canada. We're all saying Canada.
4-3 Canada.
That is, as I said, 6 o'clock tonight. Lock Shop coming up in just a few minutes. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. Oh, I'm getting used to clicking which buttons. Lock Shop, just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.
Look at this. Let's go.
There you go, right in front of the camera.
First-time guest, long-time listener, fan of the original draft commissioner.
Welcome to the EST Hangout, presented by White Claw Hard Seltzer. The difference is clear. Matt Iwanyk, Tom Gazzola with here, joining us today.